My family was sure I had failed the Navy. At my brother's Navy SEAL ceremony, I stood quietly at the back. I wore regular clothes. I blended into the crowd. To my family, I was invisible, just a daughter who couldn't handle the military. Then, something unexpected happened. My brother's commanding general spotted me. His eyes widened and he said in front of everyone, "Colonel, you're here." The whole room froze. My dad's mouth literally dropped open. My name is Samantha Hayes. I'm 35 years old, and I'm standing in the back of my brother Jack's Navy SEAL ceremony, wearing civilian clothes. My family thinks I'm a military dropout, but the truth, I'm a colonel in the Air Force Special Operations. And I've kept that a secret for years because of national security. Growing up in San Diego, my father, retired Navy Captain Thomas Hayes, made sure the military wasn't just encouraged. In our family, it was expected. Our house was covered in Navy photos, medals, and souvenirs from my father's career. At dinner, we didn't just talk about our day, we talked about ships, battle strategies, and military history. My dad had a booming voice, and his stories about his deployments could fill the whole dining room. His eyes would shine with pride. As my younger brother Jack soaked up every detail, I listened too, just as fascinated. But somehow, my excitement never seemed to get the same response. "Samantha's smart," Dad would tell his Navy friends, "but she doesn't have the discipline for service." Those words cut deep, because since I was little, my dream had been to follow exactly in his footsteps. I woke up early every morning to run before school. I read every Navy strategy book on his shelves. I worked for perfect grades and top test scores. My goal was clear: get into the Naval Academy. When I finally got accepted, it was the proudest day of my life. That day, Dad hugged me, a rare thing. "Don't waste this opportunity," he said in his deep, serious voice. I told myself he was proud of me, even if he didn't say the words. The academy was everything I dreamed it would be: tough, exciting, and full of purpose. I was in the top percentile in strategy and physical training. I thought I was on the perfect path. But in my third year, everything changed. A group of intelligence officers quietly approached me. They told me they'd been watching my performance and skills. Then they offered me a position in a classified military program. It was so secret, they said I would have to leave the academy immediately and never tell anyone what I was really doing to protect the mission. I would need a cover story, the simplest. Tell people I had washed out of the academy, failed. They explained it would be believable, lots of talented people didn't make it through, and it would keep attention away from me. I agreed. I thought I'd be able to explain the truth to my family one day when my mission ended. I couldn't have been more wrong. When I came home for the first time after dropping out, my mother, Eleanor, looked at me with disappointment. "I just don't understand how you could throw it all away," she said. Her lips pressed tight. "I didn't ask Dad to pull strings to get me in," I replied quietly. "Because the real reason my classified mission had to stay secret." My dad was even worse. He didn't yell, he didn't argue, he simply stopped talking about me. When relatives asked about his kids, his eyes lit up as he bragged about Jack, who was still at the academy. Then, when my name came up, he changed the subject. Holidays became a test of endurance. At Thanksgiving, Dad would proudly carve the turkey and announce, "Jack's been selected for advanced tactical training, top of his class." Mom would smile, place a hand on Jack's shoulder, and say, "We're so proud of him." Her eyes never landed on me. One Thanksgiving, my cousin Melanie, who was never shy about asking awkward questions, looked right at me and said, "So, Sam, are you still working that administrative job at the insurance company?" That was my cover story, a boring desk job no one wanted to talk about. I forced a smile. "Yes, still there. Good benefits, I guess," she said with a fake smile, making it clear she thought my life was unimpressive. But the truth, while they thought I was shuffling papers at a desk, I was actually leading dangerous night missions in countries the United States officially denied having troops in. I couldn't tell anyone about the intelligence I had gathered that had saved countless lives. I couldn't hang my medals on my wall because they were locked away in a secure facility. I couldn't explain why I sometimes disappeared for months, because during those times, I was deep undercover. In my secret world, every success was matched by a disappointment in my family's world. When I was promoted to major, my parents were busy talking about how Jack had been chosen for an elite training program. When I received a silver star in a private ceremony, my mum was telling her friends that her daughter just didn't apply herself. Jack wasn't cruel. He just followed my parents' lead, slowly becoming more distant. Sometimes he'd call with good news about his career and end with, "So, how's the office job?" I'd force a smile over the phone, say congratulations, and give a vague answer about my fake corporate life, hating every second of the lie. Years went by like this. The gap between us only grew wider. I built a thick skin, telling myself to focus on my missions and the lives I was helping. But deep down it hurt. The people who should have been proudest of me didn't even know what I was doing. The truth was, my move from Naval Academy student to Air Force Special Operations had been sudden and brutal. While my family thought I was at home, licking my wounds and working a dull office job, I was actually going through some of the hardest military training there is. The program that recruited me specialized in gathering and analyzing intelligence, then using it for direct tactical missions. It was a rare mix, and it was exactly what I was good at. The training took place at an unmarked facility in Virginia. Days started at 4 a.m. and sometimes didn't end until after midnight. The physical training was only the first layer. The real work was mental learning, how to gather and process information in the middle of a crisis, even when you were exhausted, freezing, hungry, or under extreme stress. One day, after I cracked a complicated intelligence puzzle in record time, my instructor, Major Lawrence, told me, "Hayes, your mind works differently. You see patterns where others see chaos." That ability helped me finish the program in 11 months, a course that normally took 18. My first mission came right away. It was a low-profile intelligence operation in Eastern Europe, where growing Russian influence was causing dangerous ripple effects. That's when I met Colonel Diana Patterson, my mentor. She was a trailblazer woman who had carved her place in special operations, despite the system not being designed for people like us. During one debriefing, she told me, "The system isn't built for us. But that's exactly why we succeed. We look at problems from angles they never think of." Under her guidance, I learned more than just strategy. She taught me how to turn people's underestimation into my secret weapon. She showed me how to speak with quiet authority instead of shouting, and how to build trust networks that crossed all the usual military boundaries. By my 4th year, I had been promoted twice and was leading my own intelligence team, with missions across 3 continents. My specialty was getting vital information in places where normal intelligence teams couldn't operate. One mission in Syria changed everything. The intel we gathered